Hello everyone, this is Lucas, and today I just wanted to do a winter riding tips video for motorized bicycles. And as you can see, I got blue here, and I got a new set of hand-studded bicycle tires that I've put on it. If you follow my channel and you've watched my videos from years ago, this is the same technique I developed years ago for making my own winter tires with the jean liner on the inside of the tires. The only difference between these tires and my first video is instead of nails, I used half-inch MDF screws from Home Depot, and that cost me around, I don't know, 24 bucks. I think they're $6 a pack ish, and you need about 4. You'll have a couple left over, but not very many. The second thing on tire tips for the winter is that you want to stay away from nitrile tubes. Nitrile tubes past -10 are garbage. They become very brittle, and the tubes just rip. They just rip and they break, especially if you hit something hard like ice or something like that. So you want to go with a thick puncture-proof rubber tube, like one of the really good ones from Kenda. They're about like 24 bucks each, but you can't beat them. And it's also a good idea to use one of those old tubes if you have one as a slip tube on the inside. If you don't know what a slip tube is, I'll show that in another video. I'll probably go into more depth with these tires and what I've done in order to make them work. But if you look on other people's channels for slip tubes, or Google it, you'll find out what it is. Possibly, I'm not really sure, but yeah, slip tube definitely. So the thicker you can get on the slip tube, the better you're going to be, especially with the studs. But again, with my jean deal, it doesn't seem to affect it too bad. I mean, the cotton does a really good deal of insulating the tube away from the studs and the sharp back edges of the screws. But these half-inch MDF screws seem to be really good, and I'm upset because it's December 1st, 2023 in Edmonton, Alberta, and we are having an El Nino year, and we have no snow. So I can't even ride this because you don't want to be riding these studs when there's no snow on the ground. The next little tip I want to get into is how to start this thing a lot easier in the wintertime. And what you're going to use is you're going to use a propane torch, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is friggin' dangerous. So you got to be very careful what you're doing. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, don't do it at all. Don't try doing it with some kind of little butane lighter or something like that. You're not going to get enough heat. But what you're basically going to do is, in order to get this started easier in the winter, you're going to heat up your intake right here. Right? That's all you're going to do, is you're going to heat up your intake with a propane torch, and you're going to heat up the block on this side of the intake. But you got to watch you don't hit the carburetor bowl or the carburetor. You don't want to be heating it up. You just want to heat up the intake, and you just want to heat up the block on the intake side so that it gets hot. You got to be careful because there is a potential you could crack this stuff. But I mean, these things are so cheap. If you crack them, you crack them. In the wintertime, you will get a lot of issues starting. Like, these things don't want to run well in the wintertime. Starting them is damn near impossible past minus, I'd say 15. It gets to be really, really troublesome, and you're looking at a very long warm-up time before you're able to ride the bike. So if you want to cut warm-up time and you want to get it started from a cold start easier, use a propane torch and heat up your intake. Just make sure you're angled away from your carburetor. Don't hit your intake gasket, and just heat up the block on the intake side, and you'll definitely get it started a lot quicker. The third thing I want to get on is helmets. You want a full face shield in the wintertime because it's cold. So you're looking for a Skidoo helmet. You don't want to be riding an open face thing with your balaclava and stuff. You do get going very fast. If you got studded tires on them, you are more agile in the city than most cars or anything else on the road. Because of the studded tires, you're able to go down glare ice alleys, no problem. And this thing is more fun in the city in the wintertime than a snowmobile. In a lot of cases, it's wonderful. The fourth thing you got to watch is you're probably going to be wearing some really thick pants and stuff, and you're going to want something that you can Make sure you bind up your legs on the one side, especially on your drive side. When you're dealing with really bulky winter clothes, you want to make sure that you don't get your leg caught in the chain drive on the one side. It's really easy for that to happen in the winter, especially when you got bulky clothes on. So maybe use some tape or whatever, but yeah, just keep your bulky clothes out of the chain drive. And besides that, it's just like driving a bike, right? So what can I tell you? If you like these videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Don't forget our Patreon down below, and I'll see you in the next video.